Fabulites, we're doing a very quick off the top of my head recap and review of Underground Season 2, Episode 1. So please stick around, like, subscribe, share. Thanks for being here. Welcome and welcome back. Again, it's Angela. I don't think I said that before, but it's Angela. And Underground Season 2 has started. So the first thing, I kind of missed the first part of the first scene. It seemed like there was a new character that I didn't recognize who was leaving a plantation or coming onto a plantation. Look, Bella is in the car, so I don't know if she's gonna jump in the screen or not. She wants to run the streets like the wild banshee that she is. She's looking out the window. Okay, so anyway, so that was the first scene. So just kind of going quickly through what I did connect with and what I was able to process. We see that Miss Ernestine, who at the end of last season had been sold down the river, up the river, away from the Macon plantation work camp prison, we find that she has landed in the Carolinas, the Georgias, the Gullah Geechee area, and I was super excited to read when I was getting prepared for the season that Queen Quiet was involved with the production and sort of helping to authenticate some of the things that were going on in that region of the country at that time, and just some of the cultural things. So I love that. That's super exciting. So we see that Miss Ernestine, who is the mother of Rosalie, she's also the mother of James. We don't know anything that's going on with James. We'll get an update about Rosalie later. Here's the dog. That's Bella the dog. Lord have mercy. Back Bella. Back. You see how scared she is of me? Chillax, relax yourself. Yeah, girl, you want to hold. All right, chillax then. If you don't want to go out, sit down, relax yourself. So we see that Miss Ernestine has landed on I think they're cultivating rice. So I'm just going to say for now it's a rice plantation. She is not in the house any longer. And I think that originally she was not in the house. So she's not in the house any longer. She's working out in the fields. There's some beautiful choreography. Just the cinematography. Some of those shots are just like amazing and beautiful throughout the whole episode and throughout the whole show. But I noticed a lot of them down there. So she is working in the field. She has connected with a man. She is using drugs. She has some kind of concoction that she has hooked up. Or I don't know, maybe she purchased it from someone and didn't hook it up herself. But it looks like every morning she takes a sniff, and she sniffs throughout the day. It's a hot pink thing, and it's a hot mess to keep her going. So I don't know what she's on, but she's on something, and we see that she's on something, and she's got a good stash of it. And we also see that she's in a relationship, and the relationship is not good. Throughout the show, she's seeing visions of Pearlie Mae, who was the woman that she had killed, the mother of Boo, who's one of the Macon Seven, who did make it, the young girl whose parents died in the last season. Pearlie Mae died, and that's who Ernestine is having visions of. And Moses died. Pearlie Mae died at Ernestine's own hands. Moses died escorting, trying to get to freedom and get his daughter Boo to freedom. So hopefully we'll see Boo again this season and get an update. But we're seeing Pearlie Mae again, and she is talking to Ernestine in visions. And at first we just kind of see her showing up in different scenes, and just, we see that Miss Ernestine can see her. And I'm thinking, well, Miss Ernestine doesn't want to talk to her, but Pearlie Mae's not judging her. Pearlie Mae understands what's going on and why Miss Ernestine had to, slit her wrist and feed her drugs and all of that. But when Miss Pearlie Mae does eventually speak to her, it's after we see a scene where Ernestine has been hit by her man, or the guy that she's dealing with, the man that she's dealing with. Someone comes into the cabin, I guess the head overseer, the white man, the boss, the man. I don't know who he is, comes into the cabin and is all, kind of dogging out the man that Ernestine is dealing with. And then the man that Ernestine is dealing with is kind of humble, doesn't say much to this guy. And then, as soon as he leave, I don't know if Ernestine says something to him or not, but he hauls off and hits her. So he's got a lot of, he can't vent his anger and frustration on that man, so he's venting it on her. And so Miss Pearlie Mae, when she eventually does speak, she is like, look, this is what, you're a strong woman, or this is what it's come to, sister girl. You are a hot mess. You in the living, but you ain't really living. You might as well just go on and kill yourself. You're killing yourself slowly. Just go on and finish it off. You here letting this man dog you out like that? No. I do not approve. I am not happy. So Pearlie Mae is kind of like a little upset, but we're seeing Ernestine. We're seeing an Ernestine that we have never seen for the most part. Even when Ernestine was limping, when Sam had run away, her son who was hung in the last season, when Sam had run away and he came back, and she had chosen and volunteered to be the one to cut his Achilles tendon, so he would be a walking demonstration to the enslaved Africans to not run. She was limping and looking kind of bad, but she's looking, it's not a good look for her, which is understandable. She's been through quite a bit of trauma, and so much of her identity was tied up in being a mom, and now she don't have any children with her. She don't know what's going on with her children. James is supposed to be with Susanna, who had the plantation, who sold her, who was married to Tom Macon. They were both dealing with him sexually, her not voluntarily, and I guess Susanna probably not voluntarily, if we look at the historical context. So her son James is with Susanna. We think, the last we heard, that's where he is. Her son Sam is dead. Her daughter Rosalie has run away, but she doesn't know, what's up with Rosalie, and she don't have her children there to protect her. I mean, for her to protect. That had kind of been her main reason for existing and being. So, Pearlie Mae, some people, I saw one review and the person was like, Pearlie Mae is trying to, get her going. And I'm like, yeah, let's assume that the ancestor is, trying to get that fire relit, because she's, having a hard time with it. So I do remember that. We see that, not Susanna, but Elizabeth Hawks and John Hawks, who were the white abolitionist married couple who were unable to have children, are still in the scene. They are still continuing to do work. Rosalie seems to be connected with them. We see Miss Elizabeth join what she thinks is a sewing circle. She goes in with this coded language and 2 eggs to show something. I missed all of that. I don't know what she was talking about. And the woman, who looks to be a very, very fair skinned, she looks racially ambiguous. I don't know what she's supposed to be, but this woman was at the front desk, and it was like she didn't know what she was talking about. But Elizabeth did have to write code words, so she joins this quote unquote sewing circle, which is a group of about, I think there are 2 black women who are sisters, the one racially ambiguous woman, and then I think there are 2 white women, and they're some sort of abolitionist group. But they go out and they got guns and they're out in the fields practicing shooting. They got some spoons hung up and they shooting at them. And Elizabeth, she ain't even on their level. They like the sewing circle they some bad mama jammas. So she has joined the sewing circle. We see that her husband, John Hawks, who is an attorney, is defending our member of the Macon 7, another one of the survivors, Noah, who we will see again in this episode. He's defending him in court. He apparently has been accused of murderation. Look at my face. He's been accused of murder, so John Hawks is defending him. His basic defense is that, let me not even try to capture it right now, because I'm like trying to look at this time and be quick. So he is defending him in court. He thinks that he's going to get him free, and they're going to, or get him where he can be sent down south for his, I think the defense is that his main crime was escaping slavery. So send him back down south and let Susanna Macon deal with him or something. So anyway, the plan that Rosalie has and the people have are to recapture or free Noah on the way while he's being transferred down south. But the situation don't work out for John Hawkes the way that he thought it was going in court. He thought he was making a compelling argument. He thought that he was winning, but the judge is like, no, I hear what you're saying, but we gonna do it this way. His behind is gonna hang right here in town tomorrow, or whenever it is, it's soon. And John had already been to the jail and kind of communicated with Noah, basically in coded language, that we gonna transport you down south. He was talking to a white guy in front of Noah, so Noah was picking up all the code words, like on the rickety bridge, anything could happen, and that's because Rosalie and her people or whoever, that's what's gonna happen. But communicating to him, so Noah is like, okay, bet, I'm about to go back down south, and my people are going to free me, on the way there. So John Hawkes thinks that it's all a wrap and that he's basically won the case. And when the judge makes his decision, the judge is like, nah, he hanging, immediately, like right now, he about to hang, tomorrow, next day, whatever. So John is just, devastated and upset. He, on the previews, they show him saying, you can't just ignore the law. And the judge says, I just did. But, law is open to interpretation. And sometimes what's legal is not what's right. We definitely know that. Look at the sun moving, going down. So that has happened with John Hawkes. He's kind of a little bit frustrated. He and his wife, Elizabeth, kind of make a plan that he should run for public office and that he might be able to be more effective. Now, somebody said he was running for judge. I thought he was running for some kind of public office, but he might be able to have more effect if he's a lawmaker rather than just, a lawyer, a law enforcer or whatever. So that's John. That's Elizabeth. Rosalie has been working with Miss Harriet Tubman. So I think in the opening scene we see her, kind of out in out in the woods, sort of saving someone who is running for their freedom, who's gotten kind of hemmed up, and then they end up paying the people. And I noticed that it was instead of $5, they paid him $10, double what he would have gotten for taking the person back. And when they get back, to the Hawks house, Rosalie is saying, yeah, we paid him off. People want the money, they don't want the trouble. So I'm like, shoot, they could get the money and some trouble, or, but I guess with Rosalie pulling a gun on them and Harriet Tubman pulling a gun on them, and, they probably figure, shoot, let me carry my behind on home and, find me another bounty hunting position, which is not as challenging as this. Let me find some enslaved African who's trying for freedom who don't have the connects that this one have. So anyway, that's what they say. So we see that Rosalie, here come Miss Bella. What's up now? Come on. We see that Miss Rosalie, sit down, chillax, relax yourself. Yeah, you. Yes, poo-poo. So we see that Miss Rosalie has been doing that work. She is very frustrated in court when she hears the decision, when John Hawkes, when the judge makes the decision. She's just devastated. I think she had been wanting to break him out of jail, and John Hawkes is like, no, we'll be better on the road. And so they decide that, they gotta break. Miss Belarusky, chillax, girl. Relax yourself. So they decide that they're going to have to break. The only opportunity they're going to have is when he's at the gallows. Is that what they call it when they go to hang people? So they're going to break him out in front of all of the people. So I think the sewing circle is involved. I see them protesting. I didn't catch everything that was going on, but Noah is on the thing about to be hung. They put the noose around his neck. They tighten it up, and then he hears the special whistle. Miss Belarusky, chillax, relax yourself. Go on back now. Sit down. They hear the special whistle. I didn't hear it used with anybody else in the Making Seven, but I know that when in the episode Firefly, when Rosalie was by herself and they had run away and Noah was going to do something, and Rosalie was like, well, how will I know if it's you? And he said, I'll whistle like this. Whatever his whistle is, that's the whistle she does. So he's got the noose around his neck, and or they putting the noose around his neck, and they're like, do you have any final words? I think that's what they say. And then she whistles and he looks and he sees her, and she puts her bandana up over her face. She already has a hat on and a coat on. Y'all know she's pregnant during this whole season, I think. So we're gonna see all kinds of disguises, but she pulls her bandana up so you can't hardly recognize her. And then we see her pouring stuff on the ground. She lights a match. There's an explosion underneath the stage. Is it a stage that he's on? I guess they have people getting hung, like, it's a public entertainment event. Like the play Sister Act I'll be doing, it's like a stage for hanging people. Like, death is really fun to watch, I guess. So the stage collapses. He grabs the noose from around his neck. He gets free. John Hawkes comes, and he's got his bandana on and his hat on, and he's in a wagon. Noah jumps on the wagon. They run, they ride off, on the horses into the woods. Some people are chasing them. The people who are chasing them apparently are not cops. Not that we can trust the cops anyway, then or now. Interesting. But the people who are chasing them apparently are not cops, and they end up getting Noah. So that's Noah. I want to loop back to Noah because we see Noah in jail. He's been in jail for 5 months. So the show is picking up basically 5 months after the end of the last season. So Noah has been in jail. He's been making, plans, making moves, observing. He's a man with a plan. Don't we love a man with a plan? So he's a man with a plan. He's been making plans, and he thwarts. There are a couple people who are trying to make an attempt to do some kind of breakout. And he's like messes up their stuff, and they're like, "What you doing?" And he's like, "Your plan is dumb because don't you see that cigarette smoke on the ledge there? That's because there's a guard out there, and the guard is out there every day, and there's a sheriff station right outside." And they're like, "How do you know all of this?" Here come Bella again. Girl, go on someplace now. Chillax, relax yourself. I'm trying to talk to the people's high fabulites about Underground. And so Noah is like, they're like, well, how do you know all of that? And he's like, you ever heard of the Making Seven? And they're like, oh, the Making Seven. He's like, yeah, stay with me and we'll be free tomorrow. Because he thinks that he's going down south at this point. So, yeah, so that's Noah. Is that everybody? Is that everything? We talked about Ernestine. We talked about Rosalie. We didn't. So Ernestine, Noah, Noah, Rosalie, and Boo, and Kato were the 4 of the Making Seven who were still alive. We didn't see any sign of Kato in this episode that I noticed. Maybe it was in a flash that I missed. The 6th or 7th time that I see it, I'll probably notice. I'll have noticed everything. But I didn't notice Kato in this, and we didn't see any sign of Boo in this. We did see Ernestine. We didn't see any sign of James in this episode. Or I don't think we saw any sign of Susanna. And then this is what happens at the end of the episode. They are on the courthouse steps. Now, I think that they are on the courthouse steps, Elizabeth Hawks and John Hawks, because they have filed paperwork for him to run for public office. But I heard somebody say that he had already won. I don't know. But they're walking out the courthouse, and they're excited, and they're hopeful, and it's a new day, and they're going to, he's going to change the world. And his behind gets shot in the head. I knew something was going to happen because I had seen on Twitter, they were like, well, goodbye, we like John Hawks or whatever. I had seen people commenting, but I did not see that coming. I did not expect it. And, rest in peace, John Hawks. We send a rest in peace to you too. So that's what I got. Thanks for watching. Be you, be fabulous, be fabulous you. See you later.